Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, my space, my room, and a big old piece of my heart. I am your hostess with the mostest, Nikita. And over here, friend, we're going to talk about everything that's going to help you improve the quality of your life. So if you like stuff like that, then you've got to stay tuned. You've got to get in the Zoom, get on your Zoom every week. Okay, you got to get in the classroom every week because that's when I'm here for you. Subscribe, click the notification bell so you will be notified every time I post. And like I said, friend, that's every week. So today, now I know y'all done heard that term. What's the term? They say, oh, disease cannot thrive in an oxygenated body. Okay, that's great. Tell me how, why, when, what's happening, break it down, right? I'm that type of person where I have to know why, I have to get a better understanding, I have to know the details. I need the deets, all of them. So if you're like a liar, I'm sorry, friend, but if you're a liar, you're not gonna like me because I'm gonna ask umpteen million questions. Okay. The crazy thing is, my dad is the same way, and I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate when he does that. He asks so many questions, and I am the exact same way. So, yeah, but I like to know the details, and so many other people know as well. So, today, because I love the human body, I figured I would just break it down for you. So, let's break it down. So, when it comes to oxygen, right, aside from, you know, us just breathing it in, and we need that to live, but you don't know what it's doing. So it really just boils down to, like, eons and eons ago, there was mitochondria, and it was said that this mitochondria, because it was low oxygen, it would use anaerobic respiration to, like, get energy or whatever. Then it started to evolve. There was more oxygen present. It was consumed by a some another type of bacteria, and then it all these years later, and this is billions of years ago, by the way. All these years later, now the mitochondria is inside of our cells, and in order for your body to create any type of energy, and not just energy to get us up in the morning, or the energy to go to work, so many other processes are happening, um, cellularly. Like, I don't know if that's a word, cellularly, on a cellular level. I think that on a cellular level, so many things are happening on a cellular level. Um, and each cell has their own job, their own function, and if we're not getting the oxygen there, then things are dying. So it all boils down to that mitochondria, and I had to mention the mitochondria because it is an essential part of the process to create energy. I did a whole video on the mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of the cell. It's the powerhouse of the cell. So, in the event that, for whatever reason, let's say you're living a sedentary lifestyle, right? You're not working out, you're not doing anything. Let's say you're a couch potato. You're not doing anything. No deep breathing exercises. None of that. That's considered like a hypoxia. It's like hypoxia where there's no oxygen. Let's just imagine that you're just a couch potato, and there's no oxygen, there's no deep breathing or anything like that. And in order for your cells to function properly, and produce energy, oxygen is required. If oxygen is not there, things start to back up. And there's this very important part inside of this Krebs cycle of how the body actually produces energy. It's the electron transport chain. This is where electrons are passed from complex to complex, complex to complex. And this is a very critical part because if the oxygen isn't present, then these electrons can back up. And once these electrons back up, friend, back up, Jared, back up. Once these electrons start to back up, some of them can escape this chain, And what do we know about electrons is that they can become um, dangerous and cause oxidation in the body. And this kind of leads to the fatigue, the oxidative stress, chronic diseases, cognitive decline, impaired immune system, aging, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. Like, the oxygen needs to be there in order for your cell to be able to function. And because oxygen isn't there, cells aren't able to do what they were actually designed to do. And what they do is now, because there isn't any oxygen there and it's been prolonged, they have to find another way. And that's, see, this is why I love the human body. Just right here, because its job is to try to keep you alive, and it's going to do anything that it possibly can to keep you alive. And so it reverts to anaerobic respiration, which is the same type of process that the mitochondria had all those eons ago when, there was very low oxygen. That's how it was able to create energy, through anaerobic respiration. And while that is great, right, there are some consequences for having to use this less efficient way to produce energy for you. There are some consequences, and that is the byproducts of this process, right? And that's lactic acid. And usually, you think about lactic acid, you're like, oh, I'm working out. Oh, I feel the burn. Feel the burn. It's burning. I can't do it anymore. You know that burn? Actually, I have to admit, I actually like the burn. I like to feel the burn when I'm working out. It's kind of weird, but I like it. I don't know. I don't know. I like it. But you think that's when you hear lactic acid, but lactic acid is a byproduct of anaerobic respiration. So yes, it is going to kind of give you those. If you get muscle cramps a lot and stuff like that, it is possible. You're not getting enough energy, and the same thing happens when you're working out, right? So you're working out and you're exercising, and your heart rate, you're breathing in more oxygen very quickly. And you're working out, so your body has to produce ATP, or energy, much faster than it typically would if you were just lying in bed. So because it's happening so fast, it has to resort to um, lactic acid, and that's pretty much what's happening there. Or fermentation, and then lactic acid is the byproduct of that. So then you have that happening, and the only problem is that, after so long of having to resort to this less efficient way to make energy for your cells because of the lack of oxygen, the hypoxia, I like that word. Because of that, it turns everything, it's turning things acidic. And what we do know about acidic environments is that certain bacteria like to thrive in it. Okay. The things that you don't want, the things that you don't want in your body, actually love that type of environment. And that's just the way that they are created. They thrive in conditions where there isn't any oxygen. And unfortunately, that is a consequence to us, because that is going to trigger cellular damage, tissue damage. It's going to trigger inflammatory responses, um, cellular death, right? And unfortunately, that is what's happening when you're not consuming oxygen-rich foods, or you're not exercising. You're not deeply breathing in, taking deep breaths, which is why that's so important, right? But that is like the byproduct of having to resort to this less efficient way to create energy for the body, anaerobic respiration. And if you think about it, and I don't know if you know about this, but when you think about cancerous conditions, Otto Warburg, if you have cancer, or you're wanting to heal um, naturally heal yourself or reverse disease in your body, then you have to know who Otto Warburg is. Now, he is an amazing biochemist who kind of discovered the fact that what? Cancerous cells, cancerous cells are pretty much fermenting, right? They are thriving in a non oxygenated type of environment. And that's how they grow, right? And he also pretty much discovered that um, that cancer is not a genetic disease; it's a metabolic disease, and that's why we're talking about the mitochondria here. So it's important that we make sure we're getting enough oxygen because it contributes to inflammation, um, dis-ease. It can affect your neurons. It can affect so many different things here. Now, like I said, for prolonged oxygen deficient cells, our body has this natural way of, it's like programmed cell death. So like the body recognizes that some of these cells just aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Just they're not thriving, right? They're struggling. They're not getting oxygen. They're not able to create. They're not able to create ATP anymore, energy for you. So they're like, we got to get rid of you. We got to get you going. And that's another mechanism of how the body is trying to save you. So after so long of oxygen deprivation, what's going to happen is your body is going to start killing off these dead cells, either through apoptosis, necrosis, or autophagy, and those are just pretty much some processes in the body that try to that get rid of these dead cells. Now, this with cell death, that's could happen anywhere in the body, and we're talking about the brain. The neurons rely on oxygen. Without oxygen, you make yourself more susceptible to what? Brain cell death, strokes, cognitive impairment, or even death. Alzheimer's, dementia, all of these different things are affected by the fact that there isn't any oxygen available. Okay, it can affect the cells of the heart, right, and increase heart attacks. Your makes you more susceptible to heart attacks. And I already told you about how it affects like your muscles, so you get more lactic acid buildup there. So you're getting cramps. You're weak, and you walking up the stairs, and you don't know why you're so tired, or you wake up every day and you're still tired. And it contributes to a lot of organ failure as well. It contributes to a lot of tissue and organ failure, and it's just that's how it contributes to disease in the body, because your cells are not able to create energy so that they can do what they were designed to do, which is keep you alive. Okay. Okay, the cells are the main thing that you need to make sure that you're feeding. And I always like to say, don't feed yourself, but feed your cells. Feed your cells, not yourself, because if you're giving your cells what they need to function, you're going to be alive and thriving. You're going to be alive and thriving, and that's essentially what you want to do. You want to make sure you feed your cells and not yourself. Now, I'm not gonna give you all of this bad stuff, and I don't think it's bad. I think you have to understand how you were created, and you have to give yourself what you need, and that's your responsibility, right? That's your due diligence. This is your temple, right? This is the temple that God gave us, and we have to take care of it, because that's where our souls dwell. And my soul is beautiful. I want my soul in a ugly vessel, a raggedy vessel. So y'all fix y'all raggedy vessels, okay? Um, your soul, the soul dwells here. Here, God dwells in me, and I want my vessel to be conducive Okay, because it's the God in me. It's the God in me. All right, so now let's get into how you can increase the oxygen in your body. Now, first and foremost, y'all know y'all got to eat it. You got to eat it. Ain't no way you're gonna get around changing your diet for health. There's no way you're going to get around it. I know some of y'all say, "Oh, I don't want to lose weight. I like being thick. I don't want to lose my little hips and grips and all of that. I don't want to lose my curves." Okay, so would you rather be curvy or sick and curvy? Okay, y'all trying to be thick and all of that, and for what? For what? And also, let me tell you this: just as fast as you lose the weight, I'm sure you can gain it back faster. Okay, so you got to ask yourself, is your health worth it? Okay, so if you don't want to lose your curves, but you want to be raggedy, hey, have at it. Okay, because I'm slim and fine. I'm slim and just fine. My man love it. Okay, so here's what you could do. You got to eat it, friend. You got to eat foods that have chlorophyll. We're talking about the leafy greens. We're talking about the spinach. We're talking about the kale. We're talking about the broccoli. We're talking about the Brussels sprouts. We're talking about green food. You gotta eat it. Okay? They're very oxygen rich and it is also great for the blood. Now, you can also eat foods like you can eat foods like beets and foods that have iron. Iron. Every time I say iron, I think about my son picking on me. They got to have iron like lentils, beans, and red meat. But again, balance. Okay. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that, but y'all got to have balance when you eating. Okay. So exercise regularly, improve your posture, hydration. Now, when it comes to hydration, what I like to do, get my water, put a little bit of Celtic salt in it. You can also put a little bit of baking soda, okay? And that'll also help with your hydration. Diaphragmatic breathing, right? Think about how a baby breathes. You see a baby sleeping and you see their stomach rising and falling, rising and falling, sleep, baby, sleep. And that's how you should be breathing. And if you're not, that means like your breath is kind of like up here and it's not going all the way down. See that? That's what singers have to use their diaphragm when they're singing. So you want to make sure that you're pulling in that deep breath all the way down, all the way down. Okay, so we have to exercise and make sure we're breathing, deep breathing. And that's all you got to do, friend. Oh, y'all, you can also get into a hyperbaric chamber as well. Hyperbaric oxygen is good, especially for cases like, Alzheimer's as well as cancer. It is a great way. You should just try to find someone locally. There are a lot of small places that have hyperbaric chambers that allow you to pay a certain amount to use the chamber. LeBron James used it, right? So yeah, you gotta make sure that you're doing what's necessary. And I hope this kind of explains, how important oxygen is and how disease arises out of these hypoxic environments. Okay. I hope this has blessed you in some kind of way because it has definitely blessed me to be able to bring it to you. I hope that God heals whatever it is that you're in need of healing for. I hope that God swoops right on in there and nips that thing in the bud, in the bud. And I stand in agreement with you, and I pray for your healing, your health, your wealth, and everything. I hope this has blessed you again. And until next time, bye.